Thank you. Good evening. I'd like to welcome everyone this evening to the October 11th council meeting of the City of Mayfield Heights. Shanisha, may I have a roll call, please?
Mr. Balstria.
Present.
Mr. DeJohn.
Here.
Mr. Mano.
Here.
Mrs. Sabetta.
Here.
Mrs. Snyder.
Here.
Mrs. Teresi.
Please join in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next this evening is approval of the minutes from our Committee of the Whole meeting on September 27th, 2021. I hope everyone has had time to read these minutes over. Is there a motion to approve?
Approved.
Moved by Mrs. Sabetta, second by Mr. Balestrea. Are there any suggested changes, amendments, or deletions to those minutes? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Nay. These minutes have been approved as written. Next, we'll move to the approval of the minutes from the council meeting, September 27th of 2021. Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
Moved.
Moved by Mrs. Teresi, second by Mrs. Sabetta. Are there any suggested changes or deletions to these minutes? Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Nay. These minutes have now been approved. Does any member of council have any correspondence or announcements this evening?
Madam Chairman?
Mr. Mano.
Over the last 2 weeks, I've received several phone calls from residents about 2 items specifically. One is the iron dandelions that are starting to grow in our city, and I'm talking about people parking their cars on their front lawns. We have an ordinance against that, and I would really like to see that ordinance enforced. The other thing is the litter problem. People are seeing more and more litter, mostly fast food restaurant packaging, dumped in the street, food dumped in the street, and people are getting pretty upset about that. So between those 2 items, I'd like to see what we can do about cleaning that up. And there's ordinance covering both of them, so it shouldn't really be a problem. But if we can get that to the proper
Yes, I can send an email
people
to
to
both
take care of that,
departments.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Mr. DeJohn.
Thank you, Madam President. I did get a call from a resident about the culling of deer in the city. They're still asking, what is our plan for this? And I told them it has been given to the mayor, and the mayor, I guess, hasn't decided on it, but he's getting pretty angry about it as he sees other cities in the Hillcrest area that are doing something about the overpopulation of deer. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, does anybody else have any comments? Okay. I just wanted to say that I had the pleasure last Saturday in helping to plant a memorial garden for Joe Newman. The garden is located at Temple, Tyreth, and Shaker. And I'm hoping that next spring we'll be able to plant the trees and present his plaque to him. So. Next, we will move to reports of officers, starting with the mayor. I'm acting mayor this evening, so I will give my report. I'd like to report that the mayor is recovering well, and we hope to see him back at City Hall very soon. Council is conducting interviews this week for the open council vacancy, and we will anticipate to announce the appointee somewhere around the October 24th. The public is invited to attend the unveiling of the new Aquatic Community Center on Tuesday, October 19th at 7 p.m. at the DeJohn Community Center. We are excited to share the residents in the progress of the Phase 1 of the Parks and Recreation Revitalization Plan. If you cannot attend, you can look at the video via our website. And that's all I have for this evening. Thank you. Law Director, Mr. Murphy.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I have no report tonight, but I would like to note that I communicated with the mayor today, and he is in favor of all of the legislation, resolution, and ordinances that are on the agenda this evening, and he gave me some background information if anybody has questions regarding some of the contracts and the Planning Commission matter, which Mr. Balistreo will address. And I also talked to the Director of Finance, and she's ill this evening, but hopefully will recover. That's all.
Thank you. Director of Finance, Mrs. Fagan, she has no report. Next, our agenda, reports of committees, commissions, and boards, beginning with the Building Committee, Mrs. Tressi.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. The Building Committee has not met, so therefore we have no report this evening.
Thank you. The Finance and Audit Committee, Mr. Balistreo.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The Finance and Audit Committee met last week. As a result, we have ordinance 2021-32 on the agenda. This is on third reading, and I'm requesting this evening that we table that ordinance as a result of some new things that came to light, and I would further like to discuss with the Finance Committee.
Okay. I noted that. Thank you.
That's my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Legislative Committee, Mr. Mano.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I have no report.
Thank you. Public Works and Service, Mr. DeJohn.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. We're trying to arrange for a meeting with the Marnell, Ascot, and Bellingham residents. We wanted to try to do it next week, but we couldn't get all of us together to do it. So we're going to try for the week of October 25th. So hopefully we'll be sending out notices once we determine that date to the residents on those streets. Thank you.
Perfect, thank you. All right, Recreation and Parks, Mr. Mano.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Recreation Department is taking reservations for this year's Trunk or Treat. Participants will provide a decorated trunk and hand out treats. Children will receive a trick-or-treat bag, pumpkin, hay maze, and a snack. The cost is $7 per child. The event is rain or shine at the city park with parking by the tennis courts on Saturday, October 23rd from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. If you need any more information on this or anything else pertaining to park services, you can call the Recreation Department at 440-442-2627. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mano. Safety and Transportation, Mrs. Sabetta.
Thank you, Madam President. No report.
Thank you. Board of Zoning, Mrs. Sabetta.
Again, no report. The Board of Zoning will not meet tomorrow, and it's monthly. There are no applications for the agenda. Thank you.
Thank you. And Planning Commission, Mr. Balistreo.
Thank you again, Madam Chair. The Planning Commission did meet last Monday on October the 4th. As a result, we have Resolution 2021-82 on the agenda. As a result of that meeting, I would also request that we had tabled at the last meeting one of the motions for an identification sign for Mayfield Garden Apartments, that come off the table this evening and council vote on it.
Okay,
And that's my report.
great, thank you. All right, we'll move to comments from the public. Pursuant to city code, each person will be allotted 5 minutes to speak, with a maximum of 30 minutes allotted for the entire public portion. If you are here in connection with an agenda item, this is your opportunity to address council. If you would like to be heard this evening, please raise your hand, be recognized, and approach the podium. State your name and address for the record. It is now 7:15. I will open up the public portion. Mr. Bizjack? Sure, yes.
Good evening. My name is Mike Bizjack. I'm with Sesco Imaging here on behalf of Mayfield Garden Apartments and their owner LHU Holdings. We're here to propose a sign, a replacement sign for the main entrance to the property. We believe We've done a good job of sizing and scaling and fitting something to that entranceway with little disruption and with little disruption to the entranceway as well as to the neighboring properties. I've also provided a little information regarding similar type properties and their ID signs that are within Mayfield Heights. I think you'll find that most of ours or ours is fairly conservative with regards to most of the similar type properties. I'll be available to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to be heard this evening? Okay. All right, we will close the public portion. It is now 7:16. Moving to resolutions, Resolution 2021-74, Mr. Murphy.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Resolution 2021-74, a resolution expressing commendation and sincere appreciation posthumously to Donna R. Finney for service rendered for and on behalf of the citizens of the City of Mayfield Heights, Ohio, as a member of City Council and as an outstanding resident of the City of Mayfield Heights. Second reading.
Do you have a motion to place this on second reading?
Move.
Moved by Mr. Balestria, second by Mrs. Finney. Roll call on the motion to place on second reading.
Mr. Mano.
Yes.
Mr. Belstria.
Yes.
Mr. DeJohn.
Yes.
Mrs. Sabetta.
Yes.
Mrs. Teresi.
Yes.
Mrs. Snyder.
Yes. This resolution has been placed on second reading. Resolution number 2021-81, Mr. Murphy.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Resolution 2021-81, a resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into a contract for 2 years for and on behalf of the City of Mayfield Heights with the Cuyahoga County Board of Health. First reading.
Is there a motion to suspend the rules?
Moved.
Moved by Mrs. Sabetta, second by Mr. Mano. Roll call on the motion to suspend.
Mr. DeJohn.
Yes.
Mrs. Teresi.
Yes.
Mr. Balstria.
Yes.
Mr. Mano.
Yes.
Mrs. Sabetta.
Yes.
Mrs. Snyder.
Yes. Is there a motion to approve? Moved by Mrs. Teresi, second by Mr. DeJohn. We were all copied a letter from the Board of Health explaining the change in how the city will pay the health department for their services. We typically pay them yearly, but this contract will be for 2 years. The first year will be at a cost of $122,000, and the second year, in 2023, will be at a total cost of $134,000. A list of services were provided within the information that was sent to us. And I think, Mr. Murphy, do you have anything further?
You basically took just about all of it, but I would add that state law requires that every community have a Board of Health or contract with the county to act as its Board of Health. So this is in lieu of the City of Mayfield Heights having a Board of Health, and the City of Mayfield Heights is one of almost every community within Cuyahoga County that contracts with the county. The larger cities have their own Board of Health, like Cleveland, but the smaller ones don't support that, so.
Thank you. Are there any further questions from council? Roll call on the motion to approve.
Mrs. Teresi.
Yes.
Mrs. Sabetta.
Yes.
Mr. Mano.
Yes.
Mr. DeJohn.
Yes.
Mr. Balstria.
Yes.
Mrs. Snyder.
Yes. This resolution has been adopted. Now we'll move to Resolution 2021-82. Mr. Murphy.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Resolution 2021-82, a resolution approving a lot split consolidation plat for Colony Square of Mayfield Heights Limited, 6261 Mayfield Road, Cuyahoga County, permanent parcel numbers 862011010 and 862011084, so as to create parcels A and B. First reading.
Is there a motion to suspend the rules?
Moved.
Moved by Mr. Mano, second
Second.
by Mr. Balestria. Roll call on the motion to suspend.
Mr. Balstria.
Yes.
Mrs. Teresi.
Yes.
Mrs. Sabetta.
Yes.
Mr. DeJohn.
Yes.
Mr. Mano.
Yes.
Mrs. Snyder.
Yes. Is there a motion to approve?
Move.
Moved by Mr. Balestria, second by Mrs. Sabetta. Everyone should have received the minutes from the Planning Commission. This is to consolidate the property listed near Giant Eagle and former Dito's. It'll be the home of the new Krispy Kreme. Mike, is there anything you would like to add?
Yeah, this property, as the chairman said, will be split, or consolidated and then split. So Krispy Kreme will have their own property. They will not own the property. They will lease it, but they want their own property designation for tax purposes. So this was unanimously approved by the Planning Commission.
Perfect. Thank you. Are there any further questions from council? All right, roll call on the motion to approve.
Mr. DeJohn,
Yes.
Mr. Mano,
Yes.
Mr. Balstria,
Yes.
Mrs. Sabetta,
Yes?
Mrs. Teresi,
Yes.
Mrs. Snyder,
Yes. Resolution 2021-82 has been approved. Resolution number 2021-83, Mr. Murphy.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Resolution 2021-83, a resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with the Albert M. Higley Company, 3636 Euclid Avenue, Cleveland, Ohio, 44115, to provide the initial professional services as construction manager at risk in connection with the construction of the Mayfield Heights Aquatic Center and the Community Center, and declaring an emergency. First reading.
Is there a motion to suspend the rules?
Moved.
Moved by Mr. Mano,
Second?
second by Mrs. Sabetta. Roll call on the motion to suspend.
Mrs. Sabetta,
Yes.
Mr. Mano,
Yes.
Mr. Balstria,
Yes.
Mrs. Teresi,
Yes.
Mr. DeJohn,
Yes.
Mrs. Snyder,
Yes. Is there a motion to approve?
Moved.
Moved by Mr. Mano, second
Second.
by Mrs. Tracy. At the last meeting, we had a committee of the whole meeting to go over the next step to the Pool and Aquatic Center. Approving this resolution would enable us to move forward. It would provide the city with a construction manager at the cost that does not exceed $32,000 for a project that is based on a total cost of $16 million. Does any member have any questions or comments? Okay. No? Okay, roll call on the motion to approve.
Mr. Mano,
Yes.
Mr. Balstria,
Yes.
Mr. DeJohn,
Yes.
Mrs. Sabetta,
Yes?
Mrs. Teresi,
Yes.
Mrs. Snyder,
Yes, this resolution has been approved. We will move to Resolution 2021-84. Mr. Murphy.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Resolution 2021-84, a resolution recognizing October 17 through October 23, 2021, as Stormwater Awareness Week in the city of Mayfield Heights. First reading.
Thank you. Is there a motion to suspend the rules?
So moved.
Moved by Mrs. Tracy,
Second.
second by Mr. DeJohn. Roll call on the motion to suspend.
Mr. DeJohn,
Yes.
Mrs. Teresi,
Yes.
Mr. Balstria,
Yes.
Mr. Mano,
Yes.
Mrs. Sabetta,
Yes?
Mrs. Snyder,
Yes. Is there a motion to approve? Moved by Mrs. Sabetta, second by Mrs. Tracy. The city received a notice from Elizabeth Heiser that Stormwater Awareness Week is coming up for our city. We've always supported this special week, and the dates are from October 17th through the 23rd. Please remember to help educate the people in our community about stormwater management. Is there any comments or concerns? All right. Roll call on the motion to approve.
Mrs. Teresi,
Yes.
Mrs. Sabetta,
Yes.
Mr. Mano,
Yes.
Mr. DeJohn,
Yes.
Mr. Balstria,
Yes.
Mrs. Snyder,
Yes. Resolution number 2021-84 has been adopted. Now we will move to ordinances on tonight's agenda. We will start with ordinance number 2021-32. Mr. Murphy.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Ordinance number 2021-32, an ordinance providing for the organization of certain administrative departments and fixing the salaries and other benefits of certain officers and employees therein, and declaring an emergency. Third reading.
There was a motion to table.
Motion to table.
Second.
So I have a first by Mr. Ballestre and a second by Mr. Mano. Roll call on the motion to table.
Mr. Balstria,
Yes.
Mrs. Teresi,
Yes.
Mrs. Sabetta,
Yes?
Mr. DeJohn,
Yes.
Mr. Mano,
Yes.
Mrs. Snyder,
Yes. Ordinance number 2021-32 has been placed on the table. Ordinance number 2021-34, Mr. Murphy.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Ordinance 2021-34, an ordinance amending Section 1383.04 of the codified ordinances of the city titled Notice of Violation Relating to Nuisances and Declaring an Emergency. First reading.
Is there a motion to suspend the rules?
Moved.
Moved by Mr. DeJohn, second by Mr. Mano. Roll call on the motion to suspend.
Mr. DeJohn,
Yes.
Mr. Mano,
Yes.
Mr. Balstria,
Yes.
Mrs. Sabetta,
Yes.
Mrs. Teresi,
Yes.
Mrs. Snyder,
Yes. Is there a motion to approve?
Second.
Moved by Mr. DeJohn, second by Mr. Mano. All members should have been copied the memo from our law director. Mr. Murphy believes this program will help with certain properties in the city that have been abandoned and in violation and are in need of cleanup so that they may be fixed and placed on the housing market. Mr. Murphy, would you like to add anything to that?
No, except that, well, this would, to get a little deeper into it, allow the city to request the appointment by the probate court of a special administrator for properties that have had their owners pass away for some period of time, and nobody has taken the time or the effort or the expense to transfer title of the property. So in order to let them know that we want to declare it a nuisance and do something with the property, we have nobody to notify. So this would hopefully clear that up and give us somebody that we can notify that we want to have clean up the property.
Great, thank you. Are there any questions for Mr. Murphy? Okay, roll call on the motion to approve.
Mrs. Sabetta,
Yes.
Mr. Mano,
Yes.
Mr. Balstria,
Yes.
Mrs. Teresi,
Yes.
Mr. DeJohn,
Yes.
Mrs. Snyder,
Yes. This ordinance has now been adopted. We have a motion that has been tabled, and there was a comment this evening to remove this motion from the table, so I need a motion to remove from the table.
Yeah, I'll make that motion, remove motion B from the table this evening.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Balestra, second by Mr. DeJohn. So we could, do you want to, do we read it?
Yeah, read it.
Read,
This is a motion to approve the site plan for a new identification sign for the Mayfield Garden Apartments, 1585, 1587 Mallard Drive.
Is there a motion to approve?
Moved.
Moved by Mrs. Teresi, second by Mr. Balestra. This applicant came before us at the last council meeting and also this evening about the lighted sign. He provided more information that I put in front of you this evening. And are there any further questions or comments from council? Okay. Roll call on the motion to approve.
Mr. DeJohn,
Yes.
Mrs. Teresi,
Yes.
Mr. Balstria,
Yes.
Mr. Mano,
Yes.
Mrs. Sabetta,
Yes.
Mrs. Snyder,
Yes, this motion has now been approved. Okay, is there any new business or questions or comments from council this evening? Huh? Okay. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Moved.
Moved by Mr. Balestria, second by Mrs. Sabetta. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. We are now adjourned. I know.